Hi, this is my review of Trick or Treat, a Tunnels and Trolls Halloween solo. This is a solitary adventure Halloween themed for Tunnels and Trolls. It can be used with Tunnels and Trolls 5.5 or above that, that is 7.5, Deluxe Tunnels and Trolls, etc. I'm going to avoid using images, and this is going to be a spoiler-free review because this is a solo adventure, so that you can enjoy this adventure without losing that excitement of getting surprised. Although I do have some criticisms regarding that. This adventure is currently available for free at drivethrurpg.com or RPG Now. I'm going to put some information below in the description on the ways that you can get this adventure for free. You basically have to click on different Halloween symbols spread out through the through drivethrurpg, RPG Now, drivethrurfiction, drivethrurcomics, and such. I recommend that you visit all of those sites because there are a lot of RPG freebies. I thought that you will only get free RPG stuff from RPG Now and drivethrurpg, but even in the drive-thru cards, you still get some role-playing games. Well, let's talk about the quality of the PDF. Well, the quality is it's good, but the negatives are it doesn't have bookmarks and hyperlinks, and it would have really been a nice addition because it's somewhat bothersome to be scrolling up or down or trying to guess the right page because the organization is not that good. The organization is somewhat bad. It's not terrible, but it's just barely below decent. You're going to have a bit of a hard time navigating the document, especially because of the lack of bookmarks or hyperlinks. If they had hyperlinks, it would have been pretty easy, but it turns out somewhat cumbersome. But despite that, things are well explained. It's slightly confusing at some points, but I think it's mostly due to the lack of good organization. And you have some illustrations that I think that they fit the theme because they look somewhat like old school, childish type of illustrations, and they fit the theme of the trick or treat adventure. So the quality is a bit of a mixed bag, in my opinion. Now let's talk about. Oh, I forgot to mention there are some cool snapshots because as I well, you will know why when I talk about the bloodline. But there are some nice pictures of different gates and doors and such as you go to different areas. Now let's talk about the contents. It's going to be a bit difficult to talk about this without spoiling because it's a fairly short adventure. But you're basically a trick-or-treater, but the entire thing is handled somewhat in a surrealistic way. Because even though you are a trick-or-treater, you're supposed to be a fighting man of sorts as well. This adventure is made basically for warriors. You could also use rogues and wizards, but you will have to handle the magic side of things by yourself. There are no specialized matrices that deal with all of the spells and such. So you're basically going trick-or-treating to this very dangerous street. And it's a street that almost nobody visits because it's full of... most of them are psychopaths. You're going to see many serial killers and some other controversial figures. Some killers that just kill one person, but they're still killers. Although I did find someone that was somewhat out of place because to my understanding he is not a killer. I actually double-checked that. To my understanding, he is not a killer, but he is one of the a really controversial figure, especially when it comes to pornography. But so you're going to meet all these different people, and you need to do certain things to what would you say, fulfill the objectives that will allow you to reach the final section of the adventure. Now there are some problems with this adventure. it's not a terrible adventure. It's just that it's just decent. You will only play this once and you will probably never touch it again, in my opinion. The adventure is built so that you get some rewards for clearing the adventure, and so that if you want to play next Halloween, you will be able to carry the adventure points that you won during Trick or Treat. But I don't see the point of it because there are many things that are incredibly repetitive. All of the encounters are basically the same thing, they just change the location and the non-player character, because it's not always, it doesn't have to be like an enemy all the time. It's a non-player character that is sort of an obstacle, but it doesn't mean that you have to fight all the time. But it's basically the same encounter, it just feels like with a new skin by changing different details and the non-player characters, and so that makes it quite repetitive. If you play this more than once, you're going to tire yourself because of the different. It's basically the same thing and same thing and same thing, and that's something that is quite disappointing because Tunnels and Trolls, something that gets me really excited when playing a solo adventure is that you never know what's going to happen. But here you already know from the very start. You already know how things are going to play out. I think that's something that's one of the greatest strengths of Tunnels and Trolls, that it's probably one of the first old school role-playing games that started handling that aspect of failing forward, that sometimes you fail a certain check in Tunnels and Trolls and that actually takes you to another path in the adventure. It does have some penalties, but it results in potentially more positive outcomes, and this adventure does not have this. Still, this is a nice way to entertain yourself, especially tonight that it's going to be Halloween, while you wait for the trick-or-treaters or whatever. I still think that this adventure is worth it to play it just once because of different non-player characters, all of those serial killers, and I actually there are some that I didn't know about, and I started looking at Wikipedia about them and all of that, and watching YouTube videos. So you will get a bit of it does have a bit of an educational value. I still think that particular NPC that I'm not going to say the name to avoid spoilers, it feels a bit out of place. But that's basically it. It's what I think of the adventure is that it's worth it to play it once, but I don't see anyone playing it more than once. And you also feel quite uncertain about your character because this is supposed to be a trick-or-treating expedition of sorts, but your character is still sort of like a warrior. So I think that's one of the good things about the adventure, actually, that you will have fun creating a character. That, for example, I created a guy that was dressed up as an undead from the World of Warcraft PC game, and he had like a realistic cleaver, and that's my excuse for having a warrior that is also trick-or-treating. So I think that's one of the positive sides of this adventure. Still, it's currently available for free, so head over to drivethrurpg.com or RPG Now. I don't remember where I got it, so visit all of those sites, all of the sister sites of RPG Now and such. And as I was telling you, I'm going to put the information of the different places that you can find the freebies in the description below. And thanks for watching this review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. Happy Halloween!